long meeting. Almost 3 hours long. It was long.
I saw the recording actually. I don't think I'm gonna listen. I had to grab it for someone else and I was like, oh, it's gonna be long listen.
You can go ahead, she said.
You ready? Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order the Thursday, February 27th, 2025 meeting of the Culver Town Council to order. I'd like to remind people that your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the Culver YouTube channel. And also, if you have any electronic devices, if you'd either turn them to mute or turn them off, it would be appreciated. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger,
Present.
Jeannie Monroe,
Here.
Dana Neer,
Here.
Sally Ricciardi.
Here.
And Mr. Isaac.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 13th, 2025 regular meeting. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Shardy moves to approve the minutes. Mr. Neer seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Is Mr. Croy on?
No, he's not, he will not be this evening.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next on the agenda is public concern utility ordinance or violation appeals. Anyone in the room for any of those? Seeing none, anyone online?
We have a number of people online, but no one is speaking.
Bring under public.
Pardon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, next I'd like to call to order a public hearing for ordinance 2025-002, amending application of permit fee schedule for building permits. I'd like to call to order the public hearing at 6:35.
Do you want a motion to open?
I'm sorry, please.
Motion to open.
It's been moved by Mr. Monroe to open the hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone in the room wish to speak as far as that's concerned? Yeah, we do have a copy. Somewhere here.
These are just the ones Steve wanted changed.
They're the ones that he's
At the last
presented.
meeting.
That's exactly.
On the solar section, the last one, all the others said square feet.
I just got one
And the
left.
last for
It's getting late.
under solar just said feet. I don't know,
I think it might be a typo.
4,000 some odd feet instead of square
Yeah,
feet.
tonight will be fun. I always like this one. We're doing a
Yeah,
flight
that
plan. We're
needed
gonna go
to probably
down
be-
to Eagle Creek, which
That's
is
a
down
good
near
point.
Indianapolis. And there's a real nice restaurant at that airport near this Eagle Creek called Rick's Boathouse.
Any comments from the council?
Good evening, guys.
Someone's trying to speak online, but.
The Cub plane? Oh, yeah, sure.
We had a lot of trouble with that Thursday.
There aren't any planes here, so.
Oh, did it?
One meeting.
Oh, yeah, they're marked up top, mental blank. So you have the big hangar here, which is and then the next big hangar is not it.
Well,
It's the two, it's
Oh.
smaller.
Yeah.
Stay on me.
Okay,
yeah, 'cause usually I'll try to,
okay, any questions on the ordinance 2025-002?
One of the, we were supposed to go tomorrow to pick up the one plane that we've had engine problems with overheating, but it's supposed to be gusting to 40 tomorrow, so.
I'm gonna say this one, does it have any?
One second.
I'm gonna go with no.
I'm gonna say, yeah,
Yeah, I think, just a couple of them were changing that were unusually low. Is demolition one of them? I can't-
Yeah.
Steve covered a couple of them that definitely needed to be changed because it cost us more now
Yeah,
than we actually received to advertise and that sort of stuff, so.
I think, yeah, most of the ones that increased substantially were due to
Yeah,
extra cost on the town's part.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing since we don't have anyone commenting.
Ms. Monroe moves to close the public hearing. Second by Mr. Neer. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Public hearing closed. Old business. Anybody in? Didn't see anybody. Old business, yes, sir.
Well, this is something that some people have been waiting a long time to
Oh, God.
we don't understand.
So they can hear
hear. Speaking of speak,
it.
give you a heads up in about, in or around May 4th, I'm leaving. My intention is to retire. I will not leave the department hanging needlessly, so you don't worry about that. I will hang around if need be after the 4th. I'll continue my position past the 4th. We get somebody hired. Someone in place.
Yeah.
Said that I would give you guys plenty of notice, you know. Fortunately, there's someone that's not here anymore to hear that. Kevin Grant.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Wayne.
Think of a big speech to say, so.
You have till then.
Yeah,
to
you've
do
got until May 4th to think of one.
May the
Yeah.
4th be with you.
Yeah, may the 4th be with
Oh,
you.
wow, I didn't think of that, John.
Well, you're a speech writer, you can help them.
Years, almost 7 months,
Wow.
How many years?
42 years.
Holy smokes.
Well
Does
said.
that give or take a few
Well said.
days?
You've got a life in
No. That date on me.
Could have arrested him in his carriage.
What, somebody asked something?
No, getting a little weepy, but I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
It's time to have a baby.
Part of me is ready, part of me.
It's always a big step to retire.
And have a legacy.
Yeah.
Crying. I'm sorry. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
This mean you'll help
Can I get-
with the,
I've had more time than others to process this way.
Yeah, I've been, you know, debating how to approach it. Trying to hang around long enough to keep things moving.
Yeah.
Best that we have, all you know.
Right.
I have to call you and lock my car again, would we do that?
Might be a fee attached.
That's a little private firm going.
I have to make sure I lock it before you retire.
It's very good to wait.
Well, yeah, there's a real easy way to get in. The window falls out and then you climb in. Of course, you gotta sweep up the glass.
Do we need to, you know, authorize moving forward with interviewing for your replacement?
Well. This, I mean, he showed interest in it. I would hope that I consider that.
Create a transition.
And kind of why I'm saying something now, so down the road here, we can discuss it.
Well, among other things, when you retire, that'll leave the department down one person again,
Right.
Mhm.
unless we,
Pretty much
Unless-
what I'm gonna ask tonight is, permission to advertise again for a while. I actually already, thinking this stuff. I sent letters to the applicants we had. And basically informed them if we hire in the near or till the end of the year, their applications are still good, so they wouldn't have to resubmit. And we advertised for a couple weeks, maybe we get some new ones too, but
Mhm.
they'll all be in the running if they choose to stay or
Yeah.
withdraw. It's not-
right,
So keeps them active. And,
well, how long does that hiring process normally take? About 2 or 3 months?
give or take, yeah, it just depends on the applicants, it depends on how many we get, by advertising.
Right.
We,
You gotta do background checks and all that stuff, interviews.
takes a little time. so,
Yeah.
Like I said, if we're not quite there, I'm willing to stay. Something you're considering, having Chad take over, which I would hope you would. It's all to be up to you guys.
Yeah.
Transition right into everything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think a transition sounds like a good plan.
yeah. Well, it's the 4th, see ya.
Time here, and I just, inner self, I just don't think it's right thing to do. Need to do this. So notice, I don't really believe in the 2-week thing.
Yeah.
I'll still be here in 2 weeks.
We appreciate that.
You see that a lot.
Chad will appreciate that as well, I think.
Everyday employees, do that, so.
Okay.
Do we, have a committee to plan a celebration and honor
Oh, Will?
all that together?
Yes, sir.
Key to the city. Key to the city.
You might want to get back to you. For the multiple keys that we have to carry.
Yeah.
Just
You're
give him
like,
an,
you take these, I'll take the key to the city.
give him an extra key to your car and then you get.
Yeah.
Let's give a whole key chain, I mean.
Wayne, having retired myself, I know it's a difficult decision to make, and I applaud you for making that decision and to let us know. And there's a lot of time between now and May 5th. So we'll be working together, but I want to thank you for taking the effort to let us know.
Stop asking. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, people ask, can't begin to tell you when it started, something that's probably commented or said, I mean, nearly every day.
I just assumed we were still under our old agreement where you wouldn't leave until I left and I wouldn't leave till you left.
You call
So-
Vegas, if you call Vegas, you
Thanks,
can actually
Wayne, you've
get
given
lines
me
on when he
permission
was
to
leaving.
leave.
No.
I mean, we had a handshake.
Feel very wrong.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, buy me a winter.
Just something modest as a party gift.
We'll get right on that.
Yeah.
Anything else you wish to say, Wayne?
Appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much.
So advertise it.
I mean, yeah, to replace the hours, I don't know that we necessarily need to advertise for a chief position, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me,
Just
that
go
would
intent
be,
on
Yeah.
Advertising the ILEA.
Yeah.
The people looking.
I think if you and Kevin can confirm with Chad that he would like the job, then we can adjust his compensation responsibilities officially at some point.
Mhm.
You know, maybe as of a certain date before you leave even to help transition this over. So he's up and running before you go.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any one of us here that wouldn't like to have Chad in that role.
The other,
So
but yeah, on your question of, yeah, you need to,
if you're to advertise a couple weeks.
yeah.
We still got this, the advertisement.
Yeah,
I would agree with advertising for the Coleman position.
we're always looking for that fifth officer, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's like the holy grail.
I mean, maybe this is the
Thank
first
you.
time though, it's a good reason for it. It's only fair. You finally got one. Now you should be able to retire.
Well, like I said, I stuck it out the end of the year, but I'm just.
You're ready. You deserve
Yeah.
to go when you want to go.
That'll give
You
you the
earned
summer
your
to
exit.
relax.
And it may stick on part-time.
Yeah.
How much I want to do that. See.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wayne.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve advertising for Trollman.
I'll second.
Ms. Monroe moves to advertise for a new patrolman. Mr. Sardi seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Would you guys like a motion for Wayne and Kevin to offer the position to Chad and get those details worked out?
I'd like Wayne to weigh in on that, if you don't mind. That he's been handling it.
Start with discussion.
Okay. We just
All right.
make it official at some point for
Right.
the
Yep.
salary ordinance sake and for his pay sake.
Well, after that news, I'm afraid to ask any other old business.
I feel like that was even new business.
Anyone online with any old business? Okay, new business. First reading of ordinance 2025-002, amending application and permit fee schedule for building permits.
I'll motion to pass the amended application permit fee schedule on first read.
Second.
Ms. Monroe moves to pass on first reading ordinance 2025-002. Mr. Farady seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We'll do second and third read next meetings. Okay, good. Okay. Next, on the agenda is the VFW sign request for town council approval, and I think we all have a picture of a sign somewhere. Here we are. Anyone here to speak on behalf of this? Anyone online? Okay, Kevin, can you give us a little information on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Steve kind of prepped me on it. What we're looking at is that the Legion got a donation essentially of a used digital sign. It's really nice looking if you've seen it. Steve informs me there'll be a variance for it, but it won't be anything past what was already there. So with that variance grant, he didn't see any objection with it or any real concern with it. And he used the word, it's going to be a nice upgrade from what was there. So that all his input was.
Now, go ahead,
Yeah, I
Sal.
was gonna say, the sign looks to be an improvement over the older sign that they've had for years. And I know they've wanted to upgrade it for a long time.
It's part of that initiative. They've done the roof and they've done the sidewalks and they're really trying to dress it up. So
I think that improves the visibility over the current
Yeah.
line
it's
too.
Right.
it does. You'll know when those frog legs are up.
Yeah.
Now, will this be in the public right away?
And that's where the variance, I
Okay.
think they're securing it back in the old spot, but for good form, since they removed the one, they have to reestablish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I make a motion to approve the sign request.
I'll second.
Mr. Monroe moves to approve the application to VFW for the sign. Mr. Shardy seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Application approved. Approved dunes invoice.
Just a point of order really quick, that in support of that sign and the approval, we'll draft a letter for the council to sign and submit it in. So I just wanted to make sure that you were, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
Point of order recognized.
Or you can just have Bill sign it.
Yeah, I'll ask council for approval. Signature. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Approval of the dunes invoices.
So as part of the whole process of paying, of moving through the Ready Grant and getting Culver Equities taken care of, there are two invoices. One is for $104,000 for reimbursement request number 3 and $150,000 for reimbursement request number 4. This money, basically, when they make the payout, then when I make those requests for a pay application, those requests are from Ready Funds. Well, the Ready Fund then reimburses a reimbursement account, and that reimbursement account needs to have an invoice in order to pay Culver Equities. So that's all I'm asking for, is that you approve this so Culver Equities can be reimbursed with the reimbursement monies.
I motion that we do exactly as Karen said.
Yeah, I have to listen to
Move it from one account.
I'll second that.
What was your motion, Ms. Monroe?
I motion to approve the dunes invoices so that Karen can
Authorize it.
disseminate the funds from the reimbursement account that holds the Ready Grant funds.
All right, Ms. Monroe moves to approve Karen for the disbursements.
I second.
Mr. Shardy seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Next on the agenda is Pier Install
We have actually
RFP.
RFP. So as I mentioned at the council before, when we came to the end of the first RFP, we were lacking a competitive bid. This time we have 2. We received RFP wise for the spring installation. That's why I asked for the extension. We decided to narrow the scope to the spring installation, as just to recall memory, simply because we were dealing with a tight time frame. It's hard to find contractors and get a competitive bid because most guys like to come in on the fall and start a contract. So I thought we would take this time, do the spring and pier, unless we get a competitive bid for a 3-year process, and then we can entertain it. Luckily, we did receive, the first one is from Tim Uhas and North Shore Fabrication, our previous. The proposal provides 2 options. The first one is for a 2025 spring install, responding to the second RFP. And that price on that was $80,625. Tim also included a second option within his RFP proposal. This option explains that within the preface, and I've given that to you to have time when it was the submission deadline passed. I gave it to you last Friday. This one provides for a spring installation of $20,625, so $20,625, on the condition that the town commits to the 3-year contract that he's proposing. This includes the installation and removal of our pier systems, A, B, C, and the swimming.
Yeah, don't announce those numbers at this point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Aside from that option, if we were doing it, because to me, if we're really considering the spring one, and then if we do advertise for a 3-year contract,
I understand your reservation.
yeah, I don't want to
appreciate
have
the
the numbers.
No,
out
I
loud.
appreciate the advice,
Okay,
but I would like to go ahead and put that number in front of you for the spring, and that way it's fair. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. The second RFP was received from the Valaquette Brothers for the 2025 spring installation. This proposal was $13,500 for the spring installation, and I'll reserve following Jenny's advice, and we'll stop there. Both proposals did provide the necessary insurance proof, and so everything came in correctly. I would like to know if the council would like to entertain or a motion to accept one of these submitted proposals.
I'm inclined to do the spring proposal because we pulled the other one and put this one out. So if we do a longer term contract, I think we should put that out as an RFP again.
Agreed.
And for now, start with where we're at, which we have to get this taken care of very soon.
Yeah, we probably got to be at start of April, right?
Yeah.
That's what the time crunch.
So then if the lower bid amount matches the RFP, if you've assessed that, then I'm comfortable motioning for the lower bid amount.
Both RFPs match the specs.
Okay. Then I would make a motion to approve the 13,500 Pier Install for spring 2025 bid by BBC LLP, which is also known as Valaquette Brothers Contracting LLP. And then I would add that we would move forward with advertising a multi-contract.
Multi-year contract
RFP.
with sockets included.
Yeah, that would
After the
start
spring
with
install.
the fall.
Thank you.
I have a narrative first, back second, I think. Have we had them installed before?
They have installed, they've been working for a company. We would be, and this is something to consider, this would be their first independent. They have vetted the equipment, they have it, they demonstrated it through contract or through the RFP. But again, full disclosure, this would be their first dedicated job.
I second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Monroe moves to accept the proposal from Valaquette. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Neer. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
And then Bill, I want to motion that we authorize Kevin to put out another RFP for the fall, but continuing that can be a multi-year contract. You guys, you and Crystal maybe decide if that should be a 2 or 3 year. I think 3 is probably a better scenario
I
for,
think more people are willing to go into a 3-year. We need to include the sockets. May I ask for a recommendation of when you'd like that RFP to be distributed?
maybe by like end of May.
Just so I'm authorized by the end of May. to do so.
Enough time to get the fall round going. if we can get it done in that period of time. And then, you know, Mr. Uhas can resubmit this. He doesn't have to submit it as is. We're not gonna publish what's in
No,
it.
that will. it will
In the
stay
event
internal.
you want it to stay the same, but if you want to adjust it, that'll be up to you.
And again, I appreciate not stopping me from reading that, so it's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm understanding, I'm gonna put down May and I'll wait for that.
Yeah, I think end of May would give plenty of time to get proposals in by June, and then, you know, removal doesn't start until the October, November timeframe anyway.
Motion on the floor to approve Kevin to put out a second RFP in the fall for subsequent years, moved by Ms. Monroe,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
Good guidance on that, council. Our second RFP of the evening will be for our legal to retain an attorney. We received two, see the number. We received two responses to our RFP for our legal services. The first proposal is from our current legal advisor, counsel, Sean Cerisi from Wyland, Humphrey, Clevenger, and Cerisi LLP. The proposal states that he will attend and provide legal services and guidance for 24 regularly scheduled town council meetings for an annual sum of $4,800. All other legal work performed, including attendance at special meetings, documents and phone calls, and solicited advice, will be done at $258 an hour. The second proposal is a bit different. This proposal is from Kevin Tankersley. The proposal provides a flat fee per month of $3,500 for all legal work, including but not limited to drafting documents, attending meetings, legal research, correspondence, phone calls for board members, as well as the department heads, taken from both RFPs, the language here. Noted exceptions to the flat fee would include litigation of an unusually complex project, as well as when serving as local counsel within a bond, which is usually included in the bond structure anyway for local counsel. Those would have to be on a payment base and not deducted from the $3,500. So those would be extra fees in those two occasions. So we have two proposals again on the floor, different. I would like to ask the council if they're ready to move to accept one of these submitted proposals.
Bill, my opinion is that we all have to utilize our attorney, and I think we should do that with our fifth council member being allowed to weigh in on that. And without him here, I kind of feel like I hate to table that on you, Sean, or the other attorney. But I just feel like that's a big decision for any council, and it would be unfair to not allow him to weigh in on that.
Problem with that?
If we just stick it on the next agenda, I mean, in the meantime, we've been covered, and I don't know. Okay,
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it's really reasonable. I'd like to hear everybody.
thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to table this and I'll bring it to the meeting. I'll also refresh the memory by redistributing it. I know the world moves fast, but I appreciate it. Thank you, council.
All right,
Yeah, and I would say those are the only two we can consider, because it expired and we don't consider anything else.
I'll close it easy for next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is resolution 2025-001, a resolution regarding property tax legislation. And I'm not going to read the trust me. First paragraph, whereas state leaders, lawmakers have advocated for and proposed multiple pieces of legislation in the 2025 legislative session that will cut residential and business property bills for homeowners, businesses, and change how these liabilities are calculated. We all have copies of this. I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-02.
Just quickly glancing at it, because I admit I thought this was just an edited version of the other thing we did earlier, so I'm just quickly looking at it.
I don't think we're-
Right, I was,
Okay, yeah, because I kind of provided a quick update on as far as what was going on in the legislature, and it's already changed a little bit. It's probably not as dire as it was before, but there's still a significant cut, so.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was the council. Supportive of.
You know,
the resolution.
I like the therefore paragraph.
I love the wording of it. It got to the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, same,
It's a lot of help for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to pass it.
Pardon?
Did you already make a motion, Bill? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the chair will move to approve resolution 2025 002.
So I'll second.
And Ms. Monroe seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Okay. Next, board commission reports. Anyone here to speak on behalf of those? Yes, sir.
How are we doing tonight? Building Commissioners Report for January 2025, presented by Steve Gorski. In lieu of him, I will read. Building permits applied for were 11, 4 in December in comparison. Fees for building permits and improvement location applications. The total for building permits, fence and roof permits, and BZA and Plan Commission applications. Culver received $9,426 for January, comparatively $540 in December, so we're up. Spoiler, thank you, Steve. February is looking fair on building permits only. There are no Plan Commission cases and 2 BZA cases scheduled. Shake the bushes. Zoning ordinance update. Solar and energy storage system is going to the Plan Commission for their review and public hearing in March. We'd like to thank John. Unsafe structures. The Plaza Meadow apartments at 624 Forest Place have completed repairs, are in absolute compliance right now. Nothing else to report in January. We did get an email this morning from Steve Martin, wanting to note that he's repaired all the roofs and on those buildings, and things are looking up. Steve seemed very pleased when I talked to him today. The TRC did not meet in January. We did meet today, but the Plan Commission heard one case in January. There is a potential legal case pending from that. Sean has been notified of this and is monitoring and advising, and Steve will be in tomorrow working on that. Wanted to note, thankful that he is, and Steve says thank you and good evening. That is the building commissioners report.
I'm just looking at the building permit fees that are clearly on Kieran's financial reports. And it does look like we are starting to get better at covering our expenses in terms of Steve and advertising.
Agreed.
It's just over 50,000. I think because he's not completely full-time hours, but it looks like we're starting to manage that better, which is great. And I give Steve a lot of credit for that. 'Cause it sure got weird when I was here.
Okay.
According to that chart, I'm like,
Redevelopment Commission.
Hi, Marty Ostrand here for the Redevelopment Commission. Held our February meeting and it was fairly routine as Redevelopment Commission meetings go. The one matter that was discussed at some length was the aftermath of the joint work session that we held regarding the renovation of Main Street. And it was well attended and a lot of discussion from the public as well as the commissioners. And one suggestion from Bill actually was to put together a request for proposal relative to obtaining expertise to help us with the project. So we kind of concluded, yeah, we need help from the outside, and we should probably put it together in an RFP to identify exactly what it is that we're wanting to hire, what kind of expertise we're wanting to hire. The Main Street group, which is assisting the Redevelopment Commission in the project, met today Kevin was there for part of the meeting, and I just came from there, where we started listing the things that should be in the RFP. And where to go to get help in putting the RFP together. And where we kind of landed on that was to approach Jerry White from Okra. He's a regional representative. Figured Okra oversees the Main Street organization in the state, and they've probably seen other towns put RFPs together for similar work. So we're going to go there and see, what we can learn from what other people have done. We're certainly open to, the council's advice. Sean, your advice as to any place else we should look for trying to put together a good RFP. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Anyone here on behalf of the Tree Commission?
Get to that and the town manager's notes if you like, sir. Good.
How about the Tree Commission?
Well, I'll go ahead and playing the part of many hats tonight. Spectacles, please. IUG program has reached out to me. With the current climate in the state, there's been a lot of movement and fear. I was reassured that the tree program is still underway. They've discussed their funding, seems to be secured. That did not comfort our sister city in Plymouth. Plymouth has withdrawn. Mike contacted me and said that they no longer felt comfortable going forward. It was a bad day that day because our good friends, the Poor Handmaidens of Christ, also decided that they were not going to sponsor again moving forward. At that point, I called Stephanie Freeman Day and asked two questions. Number one, would you consider us independently? Number two, would you still honor the price of $3,500? And C, I said two, would you give us 100 trees instead of just 50? The answers to all three questions were ecstatically yes. They like our commitment. After describing what we can provide for an experience for their fellow, and we have an incredible opportunity with this fellow, in my feeling, at least pedigree wise in their CV, we can really benefit and create a meaningful experience for them, as she agreed. So I am waiting for an invoice to come from them. I've already contacted John with the Tree Commission. He's willing. You're not going to get 100 trees guaranteed for 3 years and 2 years of care from Davies for a better price. That's a lot of trees, and we have an opportunity here to really enhance our canopy in the future. I've heard several times through email and voice discussions with people, voice discussions that made no sense, discussions face to face with people, that this is a concern of theirs. They really feel like we're losing some of our tree canopy in certain areas, and this is just a great opportunity to address that. Get the school kids involved in the process. And so I was really happy that Stephanie responded the way she did. So I will update you hopefully next council meeting where we're at with that.
I think we benefited from
Yeah.
pulling out.
You betcha. Because originally we were kind of lumped in because we were the kid brother. Well, we need something. But
Kevin, she was going to, or our fellow was going to then be part-time here, part-time.
they were, but now we're going to permanently house them in the Beach Lodge. We have the office for them. She's very familiar with GIS. She's going to update our GIS for not only the trees, but probably some other things we're going to ask her. I've talked to Adam Theta at the Lake Max Environmental, and he is very excited. She has some experience in Africa working with foods, resourcing, food security, and water management. And environmentally, she's trained with some environmental watershed issues. And Adam just was excited to see her CV and what she can do. So I think we're going to create a really nice experience.
Did you find out where she went to high school?
Not yet. I mean, I could shop, but I'd have to cheat. I don't want to use my resources for that. But anyway, no, not yet. Favorite color is yellow.
That's very cool that she can get some experience with the environmental council again. That's neat.
Yeah, it is. It's a great opportunity.
Maybe it works out better for her anyway.
I gotta tell you, I feel like it's Saga every time I come in. I got an update about this tree.
It has been around
It
for a
has.
while.
Hey,
Lord of the Rings type thing going on here. Anyway, that's your tree commission, sir.
How about your town manager
Well, I thought you
report?
never asked. All right, got a couple of approvals this evening from our friends over at the utilities. It's that time of year again where we are servicing our Cummins generators, there we go. 3,389.65. We have 4 generators that they provide service for, the 2 lift stations at Madison and Prado stations, as well as the wastewater plant and our water plant. These are our backups. They do a maintenance contract every year. We revisit this every year, so I'm asking for an approval of 3,389.65 from the council.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Monroe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Muir seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Appreciate that, council. Thank you. I've got another invoice from Bob, the Best Equipment Company. There it is in the name, $5,109.99. This is for the maintenance of our leaf truck. It includes an up and down boom arm, an in and out boom arm, if you're not familiar with duct, by the way, standard duty hose, and shipping is not included in that price. But this is a routine maintenance for that extent, that furthest part of the leaf sucking arm. It's something that he says is pretty routine maintenance. So I asked for $5,109.99.
Been moved by Mr. Nair,
I'll second it, I guess.
second by Mr. Fardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Well, as sure as the birds come back to Culver, so do the festivals. So May 31st, 2025, as well as August 1st, 2025, I have an application for a special permit from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on both of those days. Again, May 31st and August 1st. It's White Cane Day collection. That's right. Lions Club's coming down at the corner of Academy and Lakeshore, corner of Jefferson and Maine. Jill Linger, there we go, is your contact. Collect donations from vehicles for White Cane. No alcohol, thank goodness. Describe cleanup, got it. Cones at each location is the only requirement. Do you anticipate using sound application? No. All the department head signatures are on. I asked for the council's approval. The president's signature.
So moved.
I'll second.
Ms. Monroe moves to approve the White Cane application. Mr. Sardi seconds. And no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
And just a few quick updates. I was contacted about the possibility of bringing in statues. I shared that information in that email with council. They are the grandfather stones. We received one. If you looked at it, I don't know if we have choice. If you have a preference, you'll let me know. It's a great opportunity.
I think we actually technically accepted this like 3 or 4 years ago.
I didn't want to respond to the email without, I'm asking tonight just for the council to approve me. It is, it's regional stellar. Yep. And that's why I shared the email, and I'd like to have permission to respond favorably, asking for one if the council would so grant it.
I'm all for it. I mean, I like how they wanted to bring culture into the county and put one in each of the communities. I don't know where we put it, but we can figure it out.
We'll get there. Maybe we have a contest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you get them all in a line like Stonehenge, they flow.
It did sound like we need equipment to help them move it in.
We do,
have
Bob.
that, right?
I secured that with Bob today. He said, absolutely. We've
Okay.
got great guys. Jerry's looking forward to it. So we're there.
Just tell him where to put it.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I would make a motion to approve having the sculpture delivered to Culver and placed at a to be determined location.
Ms. Monroe moves to accept the statue to be placed at a later date at an unknown location. Is there a second? Go ahead.
I'll second.
Crazy motion. All right, Mr. Nurse, second.
Sally's front yard would be beautiful. You think, Sally?
Hey,
Yeah, that'd work.
let's tighten this up. I still got some more.
Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign.
Very good. Just as a means of update, we'd like to thank the CRC, especially Bob. We're going to be taking down the clock. It goes for total renovation service, both outer and inner workings. We've secured it and they should be coming soon for the pickup. And just thank you for the funds to do so. That's been something that's been on people's, that clock's important. And Marty, by the way, it's right 4 times because each one of the faces is different. I actually looked the other day. So thank you. Last but not least, and I want to kind of slow down here. We've had a conversation with Phil Facenda, our bond counsel. Phil's, if you know Phil with Barnes Thornburg, he's a stickler for language, and he had a recent case that made him think and pause, and he went back to review our economic development agreement and state statutes because of that case. As he read it, we are secure within our economic development agreement, but, and this I appreciate about him, he's ultra conservative in terms of reading the statute. And one of the things that concerned within our economic development is that we actually have a TIF area that could technically be interpreted as having 2 bonds attached to it. The way that we initially envisioned it, that those bonds are just separate distributions and not separate bonds themselves. However, Phil's advice, and I agreed with it, was to come back and revisit this now before we got down the line and found that we had a problem. Best time to solve one is before you have it. Phil said this is an easy, although timely fix. And what we're going to do is we're going to establish an independent TIF allocation area for the phase 3 and 4 development. That's the 70 unit on the back end. That will be dedicated, that allocation area will be dedicated to what we're commonly referring to as Bond B. The first 2 phases will be dedicated to Bond A. This really does not change anything about the deal, about the allocation and the distribution. What it does is it attaches those bonds to separate streams of payment, and it makes a cleaner deal for us. What will require is some work with the CRC as well as the town council. We'll revisit that process that we went through on the initial assignment of the allocation. It's an amendment process, simply as that. And I think it will take us about 2 months, just some paperwork, and we'll have it set up. And I really feel comfortable, and I'm thankful for Phil to do this, because inevitably it's funny how, and you all know this, that state statutes and the wrong reading and the wrong interpretation can cause a lot of issues. So conservative is good. So I just wanted to make the council aware we'll be approaching you with the paperwork, but really nothing is changing. We're just making an amendment. And that's it for tonight.
Good to know he's looking out for us when he's hearing about legal issues that pop up.
It was really, yeah, it was encouraging to hear that immediately triggered it to us. It's responsible. So I thank him for that.
All right, Ms. Heim, your report.
Do not have any claims over 2,500 that need your approval. All of the expensive claims were either approved by the Redevelopment Commission, they're contractual or operational or associated with payroll. So there's none of those. I do, however, have a couple of stale warrants that I need your approvals to cancel. They're basically 3 for a total of $318.15. And if I could have an approval to cancel those warrants.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Monroe,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you. The annual financial report is due technically March 1st, so Saturday, but I want to get it done tomorrow. However, it's been a rough road, shall we say? Labor of love, a few tears, mainly with all the dues, the stuff that I added to the financial report this evening. So I have not had a chance to have any council members review it. I'm going to have Kevin review it tomorrow before I submit it, but then I will provide the information to you all so that you can review it after the fact. If something is found, it's not the end of the world. It's a situation of just unsubmitting it, making the change, and resubmitting.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is just have it fixed before they come and audit. So, which
I was gonna say, I'm in town tomorrow too. If you need a second set of eyes, I'm happy to drop up here.
okay. I just I'll provide it to everyone though, so they can have a motion.
Yeah,
To have
makes
it.
sense.
So there's that. The final thing I have is thank you for passing that resolution. And if you want some interesting listening and you're into podcasts, which I'm the advocate of, there's podcast junkie, shall we say. AIM does have a podcast called Market Street to Main Street. And this afternoon, they had 2 episodes talking about property taxes and how that whole process. They talked about tax levies and appropriations and budgets. And then they went on in a second episode to talk about some of the misconceptions that people have. I think a lot of people are asking questions like, why does the town need such a high tax rate, or what do you do with the monies? And this, they did a very, very good job of just kind of explaining some of the misconceptions. And they used Greg Wright, who's the controller for Green. What are the greens?
Castle.
No,
Greenwood.
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 Yes.
Oh,
There's a lot of green in it.
Yeah, there are a bunch of Greenwood.
Well,
So-
which is near Greenfield.
Yeah.
With chocolate glasses green.
So, but it was Greg Wright and then King Ricci with AIM and Jennifer did that excellent job. So it's a great listen. And
What's it called again?
it's called Market Street to Main Street.
Okay.
So, and I actually did a class with Greg the other day for AIM. We talked about ways to maybe save some money or time on streamlining your payables. So that was interesting. But Greg he's a mastermind. So that's a really good list. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Sean, your report?
Yeah, a couple things. First, just Kevin provided the update about the zoning, moving forward with the solar and battery provisions. I anticipate that was about 14 pages of content in the proposed changes presented to the Plan Commission. I kind of want to keep it in that manageable size chunk. So maybe next month we'll roll out another, it might not be confined to one subject matter, but at least that much content of the new changes to get that in front of the Plan Commission. So hopefully we get in a cycle where every month some segment of the ordinance is coming to the Plan Commission and to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I was approached by the Southwest Lake Maxinkuckee Conservancy District to assist them with their proposed addition of 3 properties to the district. And that's something that I looked at that I think that under the attorney ethical rules that I could capably represent both the district and the town in that process. But in order to do that under the ethical rules, would have to have the written informed consent of both parties. So Mr. Christus here is the president of the district, and he's already signed off on that letter I presented to you, and just wanted to open that up for your consideration if you would consider approving and giving consent to that representation. I feel like, and I don't feel that this is selling the district short in any way, but as far as from the town's perspective, I feel like in any of these negotiations, or this really isn't a negotiation to any extent, the addition will be within the terms that are already have been approved of the number of properties that would be served by the town and the capacity of sewage. But regardless, in any of these situations, the districts are in any community or looking to the town to service the sewage. So the town is always kind of in the driver's seat of how that process unfolds. This is really just kind of facilitating the paperwork necessary to with the town and with the courts to get the small expansion approved. But happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I wanted to give some background because I work with both districts, so I'd have to recuse myself from this scenario.
Thank you.
But just as an FYI, we knew that Sean had handled other conservancy districts adding parcels to their boundaries. And we wanted somebody local working with the district. So the conservancy district hired Sean Services because there's very defined statutory requirements that you go through, one of which is coming to the town council to make sure they approve of adding those to the boundary limits. And then from there, those homeowners would have to go solicit the court, et cetera. And they would like to hire Sean to do that work because he did the work for the district. And just wanted you to have that background information so you knew they were looking for somebody local who's done this before, and Sean had done it in Plymouth. And handled it for us up to the stage that they're at. And because I get paid by the district to do some work for them, I won't be part of any of that process because it'll eventually come to the town council where they'll discuss with you expanding that boundary.
And part of under the, and it's laid out in the letter of the attorney ethical rules, if ever were to get to a point where the town and the district are in a dispute, and then at that point, I would have to be out and both sides would need to have independent counsel. And then the consent, even short of that, the attorney ethical rules say that if either party can withdraw their consent at any time, and if that were the case, then I'd have to discontinue the representation with respect to that relationship there.
Okay. So we're looking for a motion.
Yeah, so I'll make that motion that we. Clear.
Give your informed consent to the dual representation of both the town and the district.
Mr. Neer moves that we give consent to joint representation. Mr. Sardi, you want to second that?
Not really.
Okay. The chair seconds. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Mr. Sardi opposes.
Okay, so that fails. I don't know if that's something that the council would consider addressing again when we have the full membership here. Okay, there you go.
And I would need to have a little bit of time to read the old Southwest Conservancy District agreement.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Council issues. Mr. Neer,
I have none.
Ms. Monroe.
I'll have one when Wayne officially is retiring, but I'm not gonna have one tonight. Start crying again.
Mr. Sherry.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I do have one more issue though, Bill. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder. I was like, what is this?
I'm not trying to signal a defensive front over here today.
On March 13th, which is the date of our next council meeting, is the public input hearing for US 31.
Yeah.
This is different than those CAC meetings that were scheduled in that those were stakeholder people that were invited. This, the entire public would be invited. And I think it'll give the public an opportunity to see the designs that they're talking about for US 31 and 10, US 31 and 110, and that whole corridor from County Road 700 up to the north, I think, which is 16 or somewhere thereabouts. But anyway, if someone wanted to go to that public meeting, it's at 5 to 7. And so if we were encouraging people to attend that, they couldn't attend our meeting. And my suggestion was that we change our meeting because it's not fair to the public to ask them to try to be in both places. And we don't want to look like we're going to do something in this meeting while that one's going on. That should be fairly well attended because people are interested in what's going to happen there.
Several occasions, they've also liked they would love the input from our local municipality leaders. They've on several different meetings I've been involved in, from one marshal to just private conversations and emails. They're trying to rally up some support for the 13th.
Yeah, this is the last one before NDOT will actually decide on what they're going to do with these designs. So it's sort of the chance for anyone in our public, whether it's Argus, Culver, Plymouth, Marshall. I just don't want to discourage people from going to that because they come to this, which I know we don't have a lot of people come to this, but you get my gist.
So you're asking to move the next council meeting to what, Tuesday, the 11th?
If that works for Kevin and Karen and company.
And I think so. Yeah, I mean. I'll have
I
to
didn't pull
present it
up
over
the
to Kelsey
calendar.
with that.
I could
Karen says I have
be
nothing.
in person, I can be online.
All right, Ms. Hyman, any problem with that?
No.
Okay. Mr. Hardy,
I'm good with that.
all right, entertain a motion to change the Thursday, March 13th council meeting to Tuesday, March 11th. Then moved by Mr. Neer, second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. That's all I had. Thanks for the.
Sally?
I don't have anything.
And I have nothing. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Neer, second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.